Hi everyone, my name's Danilla and I'm the Program Leader for Biotech and Biomedicine. So today we had orientation for our students and I thought it would be worthwhile recapping some of the important points that we made today in case you missed some of them or perhaps you weren't able to make it to orientation. So we had 3 programs together in the one room. We had our double degree in Biotech and Chem Engineering. We had the Biotech Biomedicine double degree and we had students taking the single degree in Biotechnology. So firstly, let's congratulate you on being selected to study biotechnology at RMIT, and we're particularly proud of our programs at RMIT because our students are known for having great practical skills. So this is a way you can actually sell yourself. When you go for a job, you can say that at your program there was a strong emphasis on practical skills, and you should outline some of those practical skills in your CV and opening letter. Now, this presentation has several slides, so I thought you could use this second slide as a content slide if you need to come back to any of the important points. So let's move on to slide number 3. Firstly, our program leader for the Biotech and Chem Eng double degree is Associate Professor Trevor Stevenson. I'll call him Trevor from now on, but you can always ask your academics how they prefer to be addressed, whether you need to use their titles or whether they don't mind you using their first name. So Trevor is our Deputy Dean in Biotechnology and Biosciences. So if you have any major issues and you don't feel comfortable to take them to your program leader or your course coordinator, you can always take them to Trevor. In the double degree for Biomed and Biotechnology, that is me, Danilla, so I'm quite happy for you to call me Danilla, and so I'll be working quite closely with the double degree students. In Biotechnology, the single degree, we have Dr. Targrid Istvan, and Targrid is quite experienced in the areas of biotechnology. So, some of the people who taught in the program were present today. Both Danilla and Targrid teach microbiology. I teach at first year level and Targrid teaches at second year level. Trevor teaches genetics, and Trevor also talked to us about some tips and traps when studying cell biology, which I'll talk about a bit later. Then we had 2 of our second year students talking about what were the important ways to maximise your success in first year, because first year is a really important year. It is a big step going into a university degree, and many of you might find yourself a little bit lost because you'll come in all excited, and then when you have to knuckle down to the reality of learning all this stuff, that's when you might start to lose your way. So it's really important to team up with other people in your program so that you can help each other get through your degrees. Now, some of the tips that our students mentioned today was the importance of note-taking. Very important that when you go to lectures, you don't just sit and listen. You have about 30% retention when you do that. Students who take notes have 70% retention. So please come prepared to your lectures to actually take notes. It will certainly help you to stay awake during the lectures as well. Now, we'll have some other opportunities for you to meet students in later years of your program, so stay tuned for those opportunities coming up. Okay, now when you finish your degree, you might think, oh, I'll think about, that later on. Well, actually, we've got good evidence that you've got to start thinking about the end of your degree at the start of your degree, because some of the experiences that you have in your first and second years will make a big difference to what you do in third year, which will also make a big difference to where you end up at the end of the day. For instance, you should start talking to your lecturers now about what their interests are, because it may be that you might want to talk to them one day about doing a project project with them. Now, science project occurs in third year for the single degree students and fourth year for the double degree students. So it's a good idea to find out if there are any opportunities at an early stage, because you can get a start. And that might mean a start over summer as well. Now, those students that don't end up going into honours or research might end up in many different types of jobs, and they may not be science jobs. But the thing about science is that it helps you to become a good thinker and to solve problems. So employers might not necessarily be worried about whether you have great marks or not, but they're certainly going to want to see that you're a well-rounded person. For instance, do you help out in your sporting clubs? What are your interests outside of your study? So when you're working and studying, it's really important to have a balance so that you take care of 3 areas of your life. Make sure you've got enough time for study. Don't work too much. Don't work more than 20 hours. And also have some leadership that you can put on your CV. You know, what are your interests? Try and take some leadership in that interest, whether you're the coach of a young children's basketball team, whether you are the organizer for a particular social club. Anything looks good on a CV. So try and put those CVs together early, and then you can get feedback on those as well. Now, what are you going to do next Monday? Well, the most important thing is to turn up to your first lecture in every class. Now, our subjects at RMIT, we won't be using the word subjects anymore. A subject at RMIT is called a course. So whenever I say course from now on, I'm talking about subjects. You're actually enrolled in a program with 4 courses in first semester and 4 courses in second semester. Please turn up to your first lectures, and ideally turn up to all your lectures. Okay, so try and generate your timetable. Let us know if you're having problems. Now, some of you will be having problems getting into certain practical classes, but you can raise that with the lecturer in your course next week. So please do come. There's a huge correlation between success in university and turning up to lectures. Okay, so those students that dropped out in first year, most of them didn't turn up to lectures. Now, we've got a couple of slides on chemistry because there are 2 different chemistry streams. If you're in the double degree, you'll be doing something like chemistry of materials. And if you're in the single degree, you'll be doing chemistry principles. Now, they've all got different prac groups, and there are different times to those pracs. Look, I think the easiest thing is to turn up in week 1 and get the details from fellow students and also from your lecturers next week. There are some books that are important for chemistry. There are some guides, so make sure you find out what are the most important books and guides to buy in chemistry. Now, cell structure and function, I particularly wanted to highlight this week and for next week. The course coordinator is Dr. Gregory Nugent, and it is a fantastic course, but it is a new language, and so you have to keep up with the work each week. You must take notes, and please, whatever you do, don't miss a quiz, because quizzes in first year are easy marks, okay? Now, some students worry because they haven't done biology in year 12. Don't worry. We find there's no difference between students who have done biology in year 12 and those that haven't. But cell structure and function is the mandatory biology for both biotechnology and the double degree students. It is not in the other courses, the other programs at RMIT, but definitely for biotech and the double degree biotech biomedicine. Okay, now please make note that in our practical classes you can see the second last dot point that you will be required to wear fully enclosed footwear like sand shoes, and clothing that covers the legs. You can be asked to leave a practical class if you don't have long pants on. They can be just track pants, maybe just throw them in your bag so that you can just slip them on. There's also a locker that you can get up on building 14, which is at the corner of Swanston and Franklin Streets. Go up to level 13 of building 14, and down the corridor you'll find some rooms 7 and 8. In room 2 there are some staff there that can issue you with the lockers that are just in the entrance to those practical lab rooms. So that was building 14, level 13. You'll certainly see those lockers when you're on your way to your first cell structure and function class. Now, cell structure and function really is going to be the class that makes or breaks you. Really, I do recommend that you get the textbook for that class, Essential Cell Biology. It's even used in later years as well. So please make sure you buy that textbook and do keep up with your study, because this is one of the most challenging classes in first semester of first year. Have you correctly enrolled? Talking to your fellow students next week, make sure that you're enrolled in the same subject as those. If you have some courses that you've studied previously at other universities or with, say, Open University, you should try and get credits for those, because if you don't need to be in those courses, you should drop them. And really, if you want to add other courses, you've only got up to the Friday of the second week to do that. So please sort out your enrolment in week 1 or 2, and your program coordinator can help you do that. Now, if you need to drop a subject, or you might decide that you want to drop back to part-time, you've got until March the 31st to do that without academic penalty and without financial penalty. So please make sure you drop out of those classes before that time. Now, what about some of the things that might help you do well at RMIT? Please make sure you've got your student diary and put in all those quiz due dates and assignment due dates straight away. It's a real shame to miss out on some of those quizzes because they're easy marks. If you look, I would recommend all students do the English Ready quiz. Okay, it's not just for students with English as a second language. It's about making sure that your grammar's up to date. You don't want to lose marks on simple grammatical errors, so have a look at that English Ready quiz. Talking to students today, there's a problem with the quiz and accessing it at the moment, but as soon as that becomes available again, we will send out a link to let you know that it's ready. There's also the Study and Learning Centre, and they run regular help classes in mathematics and in chemistry, so you might find that useful as well. Now, it's really important that you don't plagiarize work, and that means basically seeing something on the internet thinking, I couldn't write that any better, so you copy and paste. Never copy and paste. What you do is you read something on the internet, make notes in your own words, don't copy and paste. If you need to copy something, make sure you put it in inverted commas so that you know that it's copied and you don't have the temptation of pasting it into your assignment. It's very easy for us to tell when something's been copied and pasted because it's not in your own language. So we would prefer you to write in your own words, even though they may not be the best words, than actually copy and paste. And that includes how another website might have put ideas together. Because putting ideas together and coming to a conclusion is someone else's intellectual property. So if you want to use how someone has synthesized information, talk about that person has synthesized the information and then make a comment on how they've done that. And then it becomes what you've added to the body of work. Now, counselling services are very important. We meet lots of students that fall into, not being able to get through their courses because they just haven't done enough work. So think about, are you finding yourself easily distracted? Maybe talking to a counsellor will help you work out what the causes of your distraction might be, and they might help you focus. You can also talk to your program leader too about, why am I having such trouble studying? Okay, so you get 4 free counselling services at RMIT. I really recommend that if you're having trouble by getting distracted, that maybe you try and work out what the cause of that is. Okay, so I forgot to mention the second dot point, which was special consideration. So you've got an assignment due date coming up. It's the weekend. It's due Sunday night. It's now Saturday, and you go, oh my God, I've just had a car accident. There's no way I can get this assignment done this weekend. The Saturday is leaving it a bit late, preferably the Friday before the Sunday. You would have asked for extension of time. Now, extension of time, put those words into the website at RMIT and you will see there's a special form. But it has to be submitted before the due date and it gives you 7 extra days. You don't need proof for extension of time, but you do need a very a reason that would have had a severe impact for your course coordinator. That's the person running the subject, the course. Okay, they will make a judgment whether they'll give you extension of time, so it needs to be a good excuse. Now, if you miss a deadline, you can't use extension of time. So after the deadline is passed, you have to apply for special consideration. Go to the special consideration website at RMIT and read, because you have to follow the instructions. You cannot submit a simple doctor certificate. Have a look. The poor doctor has to write an impact statement about why your illness impacted your ability to meet the deadline. So have a look at that online. Okay, I'm getting up to 16 minutes. I'll have to wrap this up pretty quickly because I'm putting this on YouTube. So keep in contact. Please talk to your program coordinator if you feel like the wheels are falling off. Better that than being up for what we call risk. We have to bring you in for an interview if you're at risk of being thrown out of the program. So please keep in contact. And look, your buddies in your class are the most important keys to success because you will remind each other. Please don't just be a taker though. We often see students who take from other students. Please be a giver as well. It's a two-way street. Help your fellow students and they will help you too. Turn up to lectures, even if it's a bad lecture, at least you're there with your fellow students so, you can get together after the class and work out what it's all about, okay? And you're exposed to lots of interesting lecturers, demonstrators. Find out what they love about science because maybe you'll one day share that passion with them by working with them on a project. Good luck. Turn up week 1. Talk to us, the program coordinators. We look forward to working with you and helping you discover what the keys to success are in graduating from a biotech program. See you all soon.